Hello and welcome to this video. Now in this video I've got a big problem and I need you guys and myself to go through, try and figure out how to solve this problem. And when I say a big problem, the problem is more productivity, right? When it comes to sitting in this chair where I have the opportunity, and if I just turn on my camera you'll see, I have the opportunity to have this screen, that screen, this screen, there's a screen up there if I need it, there's a screen there for another computer. If I really need to, I can use this screen as well. Basically, when it comes to sitting in this chair and getting things done, my productivity goes through the roof. So if my productivity goes through the roof sat here, and this is where I feel comfortable getting my work done, replying to clients, getting things done, and I wear many hats, right? So there's many things I need to do in this chair. What if I'm not in this chair? What if I'm traveling from A to B? What if I'm away on holiday? What if I need to get work done but I'm not sat in this chair? Well, I could pack all this up into a suitcase, be a very big suitcase, and wheel it along with me. Or is there a better way? And that's what this video is about. We're going to go through some options to see if I can replicate this solution while on the go. This is one not to miss. Roll the intro and let's go straight into it. Hello, my name is Aaron Patrick. I am a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer with a fancy new logo, that QuickBooks Chap on the internet, head of accounts here at Boffix, and also your friendly podcaster who goes live each and every Monday morning for Ask the Accountant at 8:30. Now, today's video is going to be straightforward, right? We're going to be talking about what's productivity like when we're not sat in our comfy chairs doing our work and being as productive as we can, but we're on the road. We've got some options to look at and we need to figure out which option's right for you. So option number one, and by far the smallest option of all of them, is a solution very similar to XREAL. Now, we're not saying this particular one is the only one to go for. Basically, what you're looking for is augmented reality glasses. Now, these glasses, straightforward enough, go on your head. So at this point in time, and I can make it up or down in terms of how much of a sunglass effect I've got, but effectively the secret is that you have this wire goes into the back, and then you plug this into your device of choice. Now, if you plug it directly into, say, a laptop or a Mac and Windows, both compatible, then the idea is then you can replicate that screen. So there we are, video done. The option there is that you can then have that screen wherever you want. Now, in reality, sounds great. In practical terms, it's never really worked. There's always, because all you're doing is replicating the screen, it's always that little bit difficult, right? And especially someone like myself who wears glasses, where I can't get prescription or anything for the screens, it does get a little bit more difficult for me to kind of make sure that I'm putting things in the right place and what does that word actually say? And yeah, in theory, this technology is definitely going to be something that we need to keep an eye on. It's not quite there yet. It does have one little thing up its sleeve. If you connect it to an Android device, I think it's Android only at the moment, but if you do connect it to an Android device, you can replicate very similar to what we're about to look at on the other ones, with much more of a augmented reality. So you could have Windows following you around and all that sort of stuff. I think this is where we want the technology to be. We're just not there yet. Okay, so if augmented reality is not the right way, then what about VR? VR is something we've talked about on this channel. Is VR the way forward? Now, there's loads of VR options out there. We're looking at productivity for this video, right? So that means to me that I should be looking at the Pro lineup. And the only one that really springs to mind as a Pro device is called the Meta Quest Pro. Now, Meta is Facebook, want to a better term, but they acquired this company called Oculus. And Oculus is a VR first solution. And the idea was that they were trying to make VR a consumer friendly product. And to be fair, they have done that. But they do still care about the Pro. And you've seen this probably in the back of my videos every single time you've seen a video. And this is the Meta Quest Pro. Now, the idea of this one is this is supposed to be VR, but for professionals, apparently. Now, one thing before I go into the actual device itself, one thing it does have that's very cool, these little controllers here, and what they do have up their sleeve is a little nib at the bottom here. Now what this nib does that's really clever is you can use this as a bit of a stylus. So in some applications you can use this and draw on and write on, even write on whiteboards and everything else. Love that idea. Now that's cool. The device itself, very, very bulky. If you were going to take this with you, I would suggest you get yourself a case like this one. And in this case here, you can fit everything you need into there, but it's still quite bulky, right? This is quite a bulky setup to take with you, but fair enough. What does it do? Well, first of all, when I stick it on, and this is the only device I've got where I can leave my glasses on, which I do like, but I can sit on the device like this, and I am now transported into a VR environment. And I can now connect my laptop and I can have this as a virtual screen in here, make it as big as I want. So in theory, that device does what it needs to do. Now, you can go a step further and you can even include keyboard and mouse. So you don't even need to use your laptop and bring it in there. You could use a web browser and just go on. We've done videos before of filing through QuickBooks and stuff like that. You can do that all via this. But the more that I use that device, the more I realize that actually, as much as VR, virtual reality, is a great concept, and as much as VR is shown to its best ability using this, this even tracks your facial expressions. So if you're in a meeting with someone and you smile or anything like that, the avatar itself will smile with you, right? But the more I spend time trying to use this out in the public and take it with me to, say, to a hotel or something like that, the more I feel like I'm locking myself away. Because that's the problem with virtual reality, right? Great for if I need to do some deep work and I really need to get some work done. Virtual reality is amazing for that. But actually, the more I use it, the more I think to myself, AR is the future. Because AR, augmented reality, is let's have the real world, but let's then plant on top of the real world bits that you need. Very similar to the setup I've got now. I'm still in the real world, yet I've got a monitor here, monitor there, monitor everywhere else. And I position the monitors in the place that I need them to be able to be as productive as I can. That's where this device falls short, in my opinion, because from a VR perspective, I think this is probably the best solution out there. But I don't think VR is the future, I think AR is. But luckily, Meta knew that, because Meta then decided that VR is great, but what about AR? And they created the Meta Quest 3. And what they've done here is gone, well, actually, VR is brilliant and we're really good at VR, so let's stick that in here. But everyone's talking about this AR, augmented reality. And their attempt at doing VR and AR was this device. Now, straight off the bat, this is far smaller than the last device we looked at. In fact, I carry it around in a case like this, and I probably overkill with a case like this. This isn't even an official design case for it. They're probably a much smaller package that I could get it down to, and I could bring these with me as well. These are the controllers, and just like the other solution, I can have my keyboard and mouse working just as I need to. But because it's AR, you're going to have a completely different experience. Let me show you what I mean. Now, one downside to this one is I can't use my glasses. So realistically, I will probably need to go out there and either wear contacts, or you can actually get lenses that you can insert in magnetically to your prescription, therefore not needing glasses. But the cool thing about this one is that you get the VR experience like I can see now. And there's myself in the mirror. Here's all the other bits that I need, and to see in front of me there is my hands, which is great to see. And you can see I've got the opportunity to go through and look at the library of information here, and remote desktop. So I could easily turn on my laptop, install a bit of software, put that in, and I'm off to the races. I've got option to use Excel and other stuff in here, and there is a full browser on there that I can use as well. But the cleverness is that I don't have to be in here, because as you can see here, I can't see the environment, right? If I need to do something maybe on my phone, and maybe I need to quickly reply to something, the most frustrating thing about this solution is that I'm not in an ecosystem I'm already using. So if I did go to, say, the browser, and I clicked on the browser and I open that up, then yeah, it's great. I've got this full browser experience, but it doesn't know any of my logins. So if I went to anywhere and I started trying to go in and I went to QuickBooks, I need to know all my login details to make this work, right? because I'm not signed in anywhere. Now, yes, I probably could sign in and that will probably help me in terms of my Google account, and some of it will help, but that's an extra step, right? That's another bit where I've got to consider, do I want to be signing in here? Then to sign in here for my Google account, I'm going to need to know my Google credentials. But that's not the only thing that it's got. You see, the cool bit is if I click this little button here, the creme de la creme, is suddenly I can see you. I can see what I can see. And as I've got in front of me now, I still have the option to bring all of those windows in. So you can see here, I've got a screen, but I can put it up there, I can put it down here, I can put it over there, I can put it wherever I want. And I can have multiple of these screens if I want to. And if I need to, I can connect my actual computer screen, right? So I can connect directly into it, use my laptop on a big screen when I'm out and about. Love that. And that actually makes so much sense, because when I'm out and about, that's actually an easier way for me to understand how I can use this. And it's quite a small device. Again, the disadvantages, I'm in the Meta environment, I've got to sign into things, but at least now when I'm signing in, I can actually grab my phone and I can actually look at the phone and actually interact with it. So if I do get a code on from there, I can go in, put the thing in, and off to the races. So this is definitely closer, and you know, with a keyboard and a mouse, you're kind of there, right? You kind of got everything you need. You throw it in your bag, off to the races. I'll be completely honest, from a fidelity point of view, it's not fantastic. You know, it's not great in terms of what I can see. It is quite grainy. There's a little bit of like, you know, it's not perfect, right? But I do feel like this is closer than we've ever had. Now, Meta weren't the first to do this. In fact, Meta basically released this in conjunction to what Apple did. Let's see what Apple's solution is. Now, Apple's solution was the Vision Pro. In concept, very similar to that Meta, but a far better experience in terms of what I can see. In fact, it's almost kind of realistic, if you like, whereas the Meta Quest was a little bit fluid. This, I have exactly the same idea where, yes, I can see my screen, I can see the real world, but if I click on this and spin around, I can be transported outside of the real world, and I can now have an opportunity to go through and click on Safari and, you know, go through what it is I need to do, and I can put this over here, but then if I need to be in the real world, I spin this round and I'm back where I need to be. And the creme de la creme of this is I can actually, if I need to, use my laptop as well, have my laptop screen up and do everything and put all that from a productivity point of view. It's absolutely brilliant. And then if I do need to go in and just really immerse myself and I need to get some deep work done, there's nothing better than doing it from here. And just like with the Meta Quest as well, I can bring a trackpad and mouse with me, trackpad and keyboard even. If I want to take myself away, I can see the screen through there if I need to. I can put that here and I can type in and I can go straight into QuickBooks. Off I go, and I can use exactly what it is I need to use. And the whole point of this was we were talking about productivity, right? Like, how from a productivity standpoint is this going to stand up? Well, personally, productivity wise, this blows everything out the water. I have more apps available that I can easily get access to. If I go to QuickBooks now, like I've got on screen, and you press the sign in button, well, I'm already in the Apple ecosystem, right? It knows my credentials, so I could sign straight in. If I need a text message alert to, you know, two-factor authentication, that's going to be in there as well. Honestly, this is the best experience, but you have to be in the Apple ecosystem for it to even make any sense. If you're not in the Apple ecosystem, this really doesn't make any sense at all, because without the Apple ecosystem, you can't get all of this I'm saying, and you're tethered as well. So at the moment, yeah, it's only a little battery pack, but I'm still got a battery pack connected to me. The Meta Quest is completely and utterly wireless. Don't need to attach anything. As long as I've got a Wi-Fi signal, I'm absolutely fine. When it comes to productivity, when it comes to how this works, nothing beats this experience. And in theory, I take this with me, with the control, keyboard and mouse, and I've got everything I'll ever need to replicate my home setup. In fact, if anything, I'll have the added advantage of being able to put myself away and transport myself into a different environment. I can go into the snowy mountains of Yosemite, or, you know, or even sit on the moon and, you know, tranquil, being able to get my work done in this environment as soon as I need to. And again, here's the fact I can see my keyboard just here. I can then carry on getting my work done as I need to. So from a productivity point of view, I can have multiple of these screens around me, got different apps. I mean, the app ecosystem is just as you'd expect it to be. So if I go to the apps area, you can see I've got all my Apple apps. And even Microsoft done a really good job of supporting as well. So you've got Word, Excel, PowerPoint. I got entertainment, Teams. I've got Apron working on here. And in fairness, Microsoft supports completely the Oculus as well. Now, the one big problem about all of those is they're not the most comfortable things to use. And they're all the same, right? Each one of them has their pros and cons. Even the smallest device, yeah, it's great, but someone who wears glasses makes it really difficult to use. And really, that's a trade-off you've got to figure out. So the question was, which one is going to give me the most productivity? Based on the technology we have now, Apple definitely has the advantage in terms of just working, in terms of, even though it's given me a red head from using it, it makes it the most intuitive to use. Now, unfortunately on there, I did upgrade it to the latest version of Apple. So at the moment it is a little bit frustrating because there is a few bugs and everything else. I'm on a beta. So it is kind of a little less intuitive than it was. But when I first got out of the box and I was using the software it came with, it was buttery smooth in terms of just usability. I was able to quickly go through things and I felt like as soon as I put it on, I was intuitive enough to, oh, I must have to click there, I must have to click there and click there and click here. Whereas in the Meta system, there is a little bit more of a learning curve of, all right, okay, I need to click here to do this, and okay, to do, how do I, okay, I've got, and you've got to learn a little bit more in the Meta system. And also, because it's not your own ecosystem, unless you're already working in Meta, that is, then you do have to think about passwords and everything else to really get that productivity out, to really get through. Now, all of them give you the opportunity to bring the screen up from your laptops if you've got your laptop with you, which most of these scenarios you're going to have, right? So you're going to have a laptop there. The point is that you want a bigger screen for your laptop. You want it to be bigger so you can use it more. You do have the option for that. It is there, it is available for you, but you do have to install extra software for the Meta world because, again, it's not in that ecosystem. Whereas on the Apple one, Apple only, so you've got to figure that one out. But if you have an Apple laptop, you put the laptop in, job's good in. Now, the best thing about this is those devices there are the worst they will ever be. That is the worst solution we're ever going to get. And even now, as the worst solution we're ever going to get, there's still got enough there to be productive while out and about. You've got to have some space in your luggage to be able to make the most of it. And there's going to be some limitations out there for saying, making sure you've got an internet connection, making sure that, you know, they all rely on having a good lighted environment at the moment. So there's some limitations like that you have to consider. But ultimately, for me, it's working absolutely as intended. And I'm at the point where actually, from a productivity point of view, I don't need to be chained to my desk for the first time in my whole professional life. And that's exciting because that opens up more possibilities. That means that I can go to clients more often. I can go to conferences and do CPD, and I can support clients when I'm out and about. Whereas before, most of the time, if I get a client who emails me wanting a particular piece of work, then most of the time I have to mark that as I'm going to do later so that when I sat at this desk here, I can get the work done. For majority of the work, there's a lot of work I can do, and we've even had conversations before about how far are we from this device here, the iPad, how far are we from this being the device that can do it all, and it can do most of it. But there's still always going to be that situation where you need multiple screens. You need to be able to see from one data source to the other. You need that ability to be able to have full control and be able to see exactly how to interact with a particular piece of software, or be able to make sure that whatever you're reviewing, you're looking at everything. And for me, that needs multiple screens. The iPad's biggest limitation is it's software, but also it's only one screen, right? And I feel like that's where to be properly productive, to be at that point where you can replicate sitting in your chair at home, these devices are on the way there. From a price point, the one that's highest price and the one that actually is the most, I would say, not at a price point that makes it worthwhile, is the Vision Pro. By far, it's way too expensive what it is at the moment. Actually recommending it, not really something I could probably do at this point in time because of the price point. That Vision Pro that sits behind me over there, again, way too expensive for what it needs to be. The fact that you're stuck in that VR environment means that, yeah, it's great if you want to have that VR environment where you are locked away and you can be from there. It's really difficult. So can't recommend that at all. The cheapest solution, these are pretty good for the price, right? Like, the idea is that I have that AR experience, I have that big screen, I go through from there. And they are something I could just throw in a bag and don't even have to worry about. If I don't use them, if I take them on a trip and don't use them, no problem. So it kind of leaves me, the only sensible recommendation would probably to look into this. Compared to the rest of the competition, not actually badly priced at all. It's a standalone device. You don't need anything else. You don't need to be locked into an ecosystem for this to work. But be prepared, though, to be locked into another ecosystem if you really want to get the most out of it. And there we have it. Productivity while you're on the go. From someone who's actually using this technology because I need to. It's out of necessity. This isn't me like, oh, that looks cool, that's great, let's have a look and see what it's like. This is, I need to be able to replicate my experience while I'm on the go. I need to be able to go to conferences. I need to be able to go to clients. I need to be able to go to these events without having to compromise the work that my productivity levels. My productivity levels drop, then lots and lots of things get affected. I have so many different moving parts at this point in time, from Boffix to QuickBooks to all the other things in between, that if I was to take a few days out to go to a conference, for example, and learn CPD points and get to go do my networking that I need to do to progress my career, then when I'm out there, I need to also, when I've got some downtime in the hotel, be able to get some work done. And yeah, I can do that on a laptop. Yes, I can do that on an iPad to a point, but I'm always having to compromise something to get that done. Now though, with one of those devices, and any of those will do, I can go and I can get that bit done. I've got a conference coming up soon, the ACCOUNTANCY North, and I'm definitely going to be looking to figure out which one of those makes it into my bag. So if you want to know which one does and why I chose that particular device, then make sure you subscribe, because this channel, we're talking about all things to do with business, all things to do with technology, all things to do with productivity. So if this is something that's been useful for you, then please, please, please use that like and subscribe button. My name's been Patrick. Use the comment section below. Which one would you choose? And have you chosen any so far? Is there any of these ones that you've already using and you would suggest is a good investment? My name's been Patrick. This video has been an absolute pleasure to do for you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.